Hi, Joni here to bring you a pop-up message for the first restorative class that I completed for the channel today. Each pose is about 4 minutes long, and the entire session is almost an hour long. So, preparing you for that. Also, a wonderful way to help maximize your experience is to have some lovely music on the side. YouTube and Pandora and Spotify and Amazon Music all have wonderful soundtracks to listen to, Zen soundtracks. I really enjoy frequency music from Awakening Planet, I believe, is the station that I like to listen to through YouTube. They have lovely, beautiful music with pretty scenery too, nice pictures. And then also maybe some incense or a candle to help, set the mood for you as you continue this practice. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Have a great day. Thank you. Hello and welcome to Tune In Yaya. Today I am bringing you a restorative yoga class for you to practice from the comfort of your own home. You will need props in this class as it is a relaxing class meant to help you wind down and really check into your body so you can focus on opening up and releasing tension. So you will most likely want a blanket, a few blocks, a strap, and a bolster. Now, if you don't have all of these tools at home, there are many things that you can use at home to help facilitate your practice. For instance, pillows in place of bolsters, ties, towels in place of straps, books and such in place of blocks, and blankets. I imagine that most people do have blankets at home, so I don't think that will be a problem for you. So we're going to get started. I'm going to tell you to get comfortable on your mat. We are going to start in a seated position. Now, if you are not on a mat, if sitting down in a cross-legged position is uncomfortable for you, I'll suggest that you take the legs out, maybe go ahead and lay down as we allow ourselves to breathe and begin to bring our awareness to the mat and to the intention of relaxation and allowing our body to open up and de-stress. So first, we will breathe together. So I'll invite you to sit comfortably. Allow yourself to align the shoulders over the hips, the ears over the shoulders. We're going to take one hand to the heart center, and one hand to right above the belly button. This is the solar plexus center. So the solar plexus center is where our will resides. It is where we take action to do the things that we want, and our heart is where we set a lot of our intentions, right? We put forth or put our heart behind a lot of the things that we do. So I invite you now to put your heart behind taking care of you. Put your heart behind uh, taking the action to de-stress and relax and breathe deeply. Deep inhale through the nose. Deep exhale through the mouth. We'll take two more of these cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose. And one more. You have the option here to keep the hands here. We'll begin to breathe in and out through the nose comfortably at your own pace. Or you can bring those hands down to the top of the legs if you find that this is a little too much, right? Sometimes holding the arms up can feel a little tiring. And if you are already pretty depleted energy wise, you may want to take those hands down. You may want to go ahead and lay flat on your back. Your practice, you get to decide how you start. Continuing to breathe deeply with me. Coming back to that intention, to that focus of allowing your body to relax, of gifting yourself the time to be here for this purpose. Slowly we'll bring our hands down if they weren't already. Allowing yourself to take a few more deep breaths here. And slowly we'll bring ourselves back, taking a nice deep inhale together. And then exhale, letting the head fall to the right shoulder and forward and all the way around. Inhale, bringing the head back up. Exhale to the left shoulder and forward and all the way around. Inhale, bringing the head back up. Exhale, drawing the chin to the chest. And then bringing the head back up. The crown of the head reaching to the sky. Here, we'll bring the shoulders closer towards the ears and then letting them come down. And 2 more times, back closer towards the ears and then down. And 1 more time, closer towards the ears and down. Taking the shoulders forward and back. 2 more times, forward and back. And last one, forward and back. All right. Our first restorative yoga pose today is going to be a Supta Baddha Konasana. This is a reclining bound angle pose. So we will take our strap first and foremost, and I'm going to give you a tip on how to hold your legs together. So actually put the strap to the side for a second, and you're going to take the blocks behind you, and then you'll take the bolster on top. Now, the blocks are on top of the bolster, right? And I put the second block on the third level and the first block on the second. You can toy with this and see how it feels for you. You might even want to lay completely flat on your back. That might make it a little harder to get up depending on your flexibility, but that's the great thing is you get to test out what works best for you here. So I'm going to tell you to bring the bottom of the feet together as you take the back of the hips to the bolster. Then you will take the strap. It will come underneath the feet, right? And then you'll cross it over the top of the feet. And then you'll take the tails underneath the legs, all the way back underneath those hips as you let the knees splay open. This will be lovely as you slowly lean back on those blocks, right? Don't lean back too fast. As you can see, those blocks can wobble from underneath you, but if you allow yourself to kind of find what works best, you will be able to keep them stable. Now, from here, you have that option to bring those legs a little bit closer to you. The straps are a great tool to facilitate that, and you're going to take the arms out to the side. An eye pillow or blanket over the eyes is great here too. And then we're going to allow ourselves to continue to breathe deeply, right? Closing the eyes, allowing the belly to rise with each inhale and fall with each exhale. If this feels a little tight underneath or at those hip creases, you can always take a block or blankets underneath those legs as well. And even take those hands underneath just in case that doesn't quite feel as open yet, to really just let those legs hang out on their own. And allow the attention to draw inward, setting that intention to take this time for your body, to dedicate to your relaxation, to dedicate to your breath and the awareness of it. Slowly we'll begin to bring ourselves back, bending the knees back up, taking the straps from the bottom of the feet, and allowing ourselves to take the legs and kind of shake them from side to side, right, before we bring ourselves back up. And allowing yourself to take in that peace, right, that peace of laying still for a few moments. We move so much throughout the day. It is not common for us to lie still while we are aware, except when we go to sleep. We might find a little bit of awareness there, or just frustration because we might not fall asleep very easy, right? So, allowing ourselves to be able to lie still while breathing is an important process of this restorative practice. We're going to come into a wide leg forward fold next. So I'm going to tell you to take your legs further apart from each other, right? Now, how far apart they come from each other is going to depend on you. You might not feel comfortable very far apart from each other. You might actually need to sit on top of a blanket to even take your legs out like this. Pay attention to how the backside of the body, how the body feels. So if you feel like you're kind of sitting on the backside of those sits bones and it's hard for you to take the legs out and you're kind of slumped and it's challenging for you to actually sit up erect, then allow yourself to sit up on a pillow or a blanket. And this will allow your hips to open up a little bit more so that way you can sit up a little bit taller. That's going to be the first thing that you do. Once you get yourself situated here, you got all kinds of options. So I'm going to tell you to utilize a chair first and foremost if you don't find that you can come that far forward whenever you are folding forward. You want to attempt at first to keep a nice long back. So as we come forward, we keep a long back and we stay active in the legs and we allow the rest of the body to relax and fold into the pose as we keep the back long. So the blocks and the bolster will definitely come in handy. But if the blocks and the bolster, for instance, when you set forward, if this is already a little challenging for you and you can't really even get to the forehead, then you may consider, you may consider coming to a chair or a stool, a couch cushion, and that will facilitate or help to bring you to the height that is available for you today. So once you find where is available today, you set the bolster on top, right? And then you allow yourself to come forward and you find that nice comfortable place. So you might even take a blanket on top of the bolster for your head to rest on. There's lots of options for you here. We take the toes up to the sky, the heels are pressing down to the ground, and we relax the shoulders, and then we bring ourselves into that space once again. That space of just allowing ourselves to breathe deeply, nice in and out through the nose, resting on the side of the face, maybe changing the side of the face every so often, and allowing everything else to fade away. Slowly, we begin to wiggle our toes and roll our ankles around. And then we're going to slowly come all the way back up, right? Taking the accessories out to the side, our tools that we will continue to use. From here, we're going to come into pigeon poses. I'm going to give you different variations of pigeon poses to try out so you can see what works best for you today. Again, you may want to utilize a chair or stool that's a little bit higher up for you to be able to do the fold forward that comes into the mix. So the first thing you're going to do is take the right shin to face the front of the mat. The heel can come in a little closer to the body. The closer you get the shin to face the front of the mat in this pose, the more challenging it will be as you continue to lengthen this back leg out. The first thing is you pull the heel in closer to the body, and then you take the left shin to face the long side of the mat, and then you can pull that heel into the body as well. So from here, you begin to fold forward, allowing yourself to see what feels available today. You might be able to come onto those forearms. Since we're going to be here for a while, it's going to be very nice to be able to have something underneath you. You want to attempt to be able to get to rest that head as you allow yourself to lay down. So that's one of the reasons that that stool or that chair might make it more comfortable for you. All right. So if you are comfortable with your legs here in this square position, then that's great. You go ahead and you stay there. Maybe you deepen this as you continue to follow along with this practice. The next option is to lengthen that back leg behind you. Now, when you lengthen the back leg behind you, you may want a blanket or a bolster underneath that right hip because my right leg is forward. So that's going to be another option if this feels a little too tight for you without any support underneath you. Then from here, again, you have the option to come to the forearms, to the bolster, to the blocks, and find what feels comfortable today. You might not need the blocks underneath you. You might not need the bolster underneath you. You might just want a blanket underneath you. I'm going to go with a bolster today for myself, and then I'm going to tell you to get comfortable and to allow yourself to breathe with me as I go ahead and set our timer again. So get comfortable, relax, breathe into the posture, allowing the body to release, softening the shoulders, the facial muscles. Slowly we'll begin to bring ourselves back, finding our way to the palms of our hands, gently rolling over to that right hip if we did decide to lengthen that back leg out. Taking the bolster out to the side or any other prop that we use, we're going to lean back towards the back side of the body, pressing our hands into the ground, and slightly or gently pull those knees up towards the sky and go ahead and windshield wiper those legs back and forth. Notice how the right hip feels versus the left here. And then we're going to switch sides, okay? So now that left shin can face the front of the mat, or you can pull that left heel closer into the body. Those props can come back in front of the body, however you're going to use them. And then we can lengthen that leg out if we choose. Remember, you can bring that right shin to face the long side of the mat instead, and you can stay on that left hip. Also take note that at any time throughout the posture, if it starts to feel too tense, or if it feels like you can open up more, you're always welcome to deepen or lessen the posture. Do try to stay in as long as it does feel comfortable, and make sure that it's not your mind needing to wander versus your body saying, hey, I need a little bit of a break, right? So find again which version of this posture works for you, and we'll get started again. Relaxing, allowing the body to breathe. Softening the shoulders and the facial features. Allowing the breath to deepen once again. And slowly we'll begin to bring ourselves back up again, coming to the palms of those hands, removing those props, rolling to that left hip, bringing that right leg up and around, and once again letting those knees sway from side to side. We've got one more final pose before we come into our Shavasana, and that will be, of course, our final pose. Our next pose is going to be completely on the stomach, and we are going to use our bolster or our blanket. So we use the blanket for our crocodile breath, and we place the blanket or the bolster right under where those ribs begin to flare open. So allow yourself to think about that as you get yourself ready by rolling up your blanket or getting that bolster underneath you. The blanket is quite nice because it can come on either side of the body and kind of add a little bit of that cocoon motion, a cocoon action, right? So figure out which version works best for you. You can try a little bit them both, and then allow yourself to get comfortable. Now, you might need another blanket here if you did decide to use your blanket, as coming down to the forearms and resting your forehead there may be uncomfortable, or maybe it might feel like it's a little bit too intense. The bolster can come underneath the head as well, so you have a few options. From here, once you find which version feels best for you, allow yourself to cross those arms to get comfortable, and we will begin again. Pay attention to how the body breathes into the bolster underneath you or the blanket underneath you. Relax the shoulders. Shake out the body a little if you need here. And then allow the attention to draw inward. Slowly we'll begin to bring ourselves back. I want you to toy with turning the toes in towards each other, drawing the heels to the outer edges of the mat. And then turn the toes away from each other, toying with taking the heels down to the center, right? We'll do that 2 more times. Toes in, toes out, toes in, and toes out. Slowly coming up. Once again, noticing that energy created right there in that solar plexus, y'all. As we take the props out to the side and gently push ourselves back into child's pose. Just reach those arms out here and allow yourself to take a few deep breaths. You can bring that forehead down to the mat. If that feels available today, you can come to the side of the face or the side of the forehead. Gently walk the arms towards the left. And then gently walk the arms towards the right. Slowly come back to center. And we're going to come all the way to our backs now for our Shavasana. So find yourself in a comfortable lying position on your back. Right? Eye pillows or a blanket over the eyes will be a wonderful tool here. You can also take a bolster underneath you if that feels good. Underneath the knees, a rolled up blanket or a bolster is another lovely tool to use. And as you continue this practice, you'll find different ways to facilitate your practice, different ways to different moves or variations that you like more even than the instruction that's being given. So allow yourself to pay attention to how your body feels first and foremost. Slowly lowering yourself down. Okay. Taking the hands down to the side, the hips, the palms to face the sky. And then we'll bring ourselves to center as we allow ourselves to once again tune into the breath, allowing the belly to rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale, shaking out the head, shaking out the shoulders. Allowing the attention to draw inward. As we slowly let everything else fade away. Slowly, we'll begin to bring ourselves back, wiggling the fingers, the toes, rotating the hands and the feet clockwise, counterclockwise. We'll remove the props if we have some underneath our knees, for instance, and bringing the knees up, we'll let them sway from side to side. And we'll gently roll to the right side of the body. When you're ready, take your time, right? You get to choose the ending of your practice. You can stretch it out a little more here, or you can follow along with me. Slowly, we'll begin to bring ourselves all the way up to a comfortable seated position once again. Remembering that you don't have to sit with those legs crossed, though they might cross a little easier now after those pigeon poses, right? And find where it feels comfortable for you, aligning the shoulders over the hips, the ears over the shoulders. Trying to hold on to that stillness that you might have found within the mind during our practice. We'll bring the hands together and gather some heat here. And then slowly placing the hands over the face. Taking the first two fingers and lifting up the arches of the brow and smooth down to the temples. Again, lifting up the arches of the brow and smooth down. And one more time, lifting up and smoothing down. At the temples, roll the temples clockwise and counterclockwise. And come to the base of the throat, lifting the fingertips up towards the chin, along the jawbone to the bottom of the ears. We'll do that 2 more times, lifting up and along the jawbone to the base of the ears. And 1 more time, and along the jawbone. You can bring those hands together once again just to gather some heat. You have the option here of holding them a little bit closer together as you separate, bringing them apart slowly, holding on to that stillness of the mind and maybe the warmth of the hands, or even bringing the hands all the way down to the tops of the legs. You may be able to build holding on to that heat even after you have let your hands come all the way to the legs. Give yourself time to build here if it doesn't feel available just yet. And you can always build more heat with those hands if needed. We'll take a few more deep breaths here together. Inhale and exhale through the nose. Slowly we'll begin to bring ourselves back once again, fluttering the eyes, wiggling the fingers, and bringing the hands back to heart center. We'll complete our class with 3 ums. You are welcome to join me. I'll start with a deep inhale, exhale, beginning on the second. You can inhale with me now. And exhale. Inhale for Om.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this restorative yoga session. Namaste.